And welcome everyone to the Startup Lightning Talks. On behalf of my colleagues at Startup Exchange and ILP, we're all happy to have you here. I will give a brief overview of Startup Exchange, and then we will have the startup presentations. And following that, the lunch exhibit downstairs, but more on that later. So again, I'm Ariadna Rodenstein, Events Leader with MIT Startup Exchange. So our program was created about 7 years ago within corporate relations to help promote partnerships between MIT-connected startups and industry. We currently have about 1,400 startups and 230 members from the Industrial Design Program, or ILP. These are global corporations, as you're aware, covering all industries. And these are some of the success stories we've seen in the past few years, and we hope to add many to those, maybe from some conversations that will start today. Here you can see some of the trending technologies for MIT startups, some of which they will touch on today, like AR, VR, and big data and analytics. So how can you engage with these startups as an ILP member? One way is to join us at events like today's. You also have access to introductory meetings through your ILP program director, and this can happen throughout the year. You also have access to STEX25, our accelerator program, which is for industry-ready startups. And we're about to unveil the latest cohort, so stay tuned for that. And also, finally, you can post opportunities. These are challenges for the startups they can apply, and where you see a good fit, they can help you solve a problem that you are facing in your industry. So before we start with the first presentation, I also wanted to bring your attention to a report that just came out. It's fresh off the presses, and it's about corporate and startup engagement. We did this in collaboration with Innovation Leader, and it came from a survey with over about 250 participants, maybe some of you, that included ILP members, Startup Exchange members, and Innovation Leader members. And I just wanted to share a couple of the findings that are quite interesting. So about 80% of the corporates said that their engagement with startups have increased since the beginning of the pandemic last March. And that's a high number, and we're glad to see that. 55% of corporates said that they still need a formal process in place to work with startups in their companies, and that often the support of the CEO or CTO, for example, is vital for this. A couple of challenges that corporates have faced when working with startups that they highlight are different expectations and also different operating speeds. And a couple of challenges that startups have faced when working with corporates are being introduced to the right people at the organization, and also learning about the complexities and how to navigate them of a large company. So we all hope that you find this enlightening and also useful when you start or embark in new conversations, pilots, and take new steps to work together. The full report, as well as some experts, are going to be available in our website and also through our newsletters for ILP members and startups. And we hope that you get all this information soon, and if not, also contact us at ILP or Startup Exchange. But be on the lookout for this, because the full report is quite worth the read. So with that, I'd like to introduce now the first startup. It's Zoë Cayetano, Head of Product from Pathr.
Hi, everyone. My name is Zoe Cayetano, and as Ariadna mentioned, I'm the head of product here at Pathr AI. And what we're doing is delivering spatial intelligence for physical spaces. And we actually got our start here at MIT Media Lab back in 2009, where we were looking at speech development for children in a physical space. And then from there, in 2019, we founded Pathr AI and started delivering spatial intelligence to multiple different industries. So here's the problem that we're looking to solve. First is that physical spaces are lacking analytics that online sites and spaces have today. And if we look at the history of online web analytics, here's what we find. In the 1990s, there were a lot of visitor counters. This is a type of analytic that you get where you see hits and visits from a website. And then from there, fast forward to today with Google Analytics and Adobe Analytics, we are now able to see real-time behavior insights on any online website. And this is what we're trying to get to for retail and physical spaces. But here's another problem that we faced. It turns out taking AI to production is difficult. And a lot of you know this with big data and analytics companies. This is the current state of analytics today. It is custom-built snowflakes that are difficult to scale. And in some retail spaces, they have this already, but they only track traffic and visitors. So they're only in the visitor count era. What we're trying to do is something like this, that is more like a Model T in production lines, where we can actually take AI to production and make it more viable for businesses and different industries. And eventually, we're going to get here where production lines are autonomous and our time to market can be in a matter of hours. And today, it's less than 2 weeks. And so how do we get there, and how do we do that? This is where Pathr AI comes into picture. Our stack looks like this, where the beginning of the software is the sensor layer. And this is actually one of the disruptive things that we did with scalability in mind, where our software can work with any existing infrastructure. That is cameras and sensors that are already there, that are in our physical spaces already. And so we can work with any types of sensors, cameras, and beacons that are already there. And then from there, our sensor layer integrates with those devices, those IoT devices and cameras, and then processes that with computer vision. And when we do detections and tracking of people, and then from there, it spits out an anonymous event that only has XYZ coordinates of people. So we do not use any PII information in our events and our insights. And we turn that into really cool data science work with behavior insights like interactions of people, where are people staying and dwelling, and more. We also integrate that with existing business systems, like dashboarding tools like Microsoft Power BI and Tableau, and as well as alert notification systems like Slack and Theatro for retailers. And here's an example of one of our customers who have taken this to production already. This is a large shopping center here in the United States that has deployments in the Beverly Hills, Beverly Center, and as well as in Michigan. And they were curious to see how might they optimize their lease rates based on the analytics that we're providing. And so spatial analytics like how many people are entering specific locations and entrances, and where are people staying? Are they at the food court or in some other area? And how many people are passing by individual stores? And out of those many people, how many people are actually entering the stores? So that gives us a bit of understanding of conversion from pass-by to entrances, similar to what we're seeing in online analytics as well. And this is actually one of the biggest and hardest deployments that we've ever done to date since 2019, because this mall has 8 to 9 floors and 100+ cameras. And it took us about 2 to 4 weeks to deploy both of those shopping centers, but our most prototypical deployments only take less than 2 weeks. And in some cases, if it's a simple 2 entrances store, we can do that in a matter of hours. So with that, we are looking to expand to multiple industries, whether it's retail, commercial real estate, smart buildings, smart cities, and any physical space that you can think of. And we are also looking to expand our partner ecosystem with camera providers, hardware providers, businesses, other SaaS businesses, and as well as consulting firms that we can work with. And if you're interested, I'd love to talk to you more about it. Please come talk to me. I'm also going to be at the launch exhibit downstairs. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Krasgam. I'm a professor here at MIT and also a co-founder of Einblick. Einblick actually came out of a research project which started over 7 years ago with the goal to enable more people to collaborate and work together on data problems, as well as make data science more accessible to a broader audience. In general, there's no shortage of visions on how data science actually should look like, and this is a vision video Microsoft put out roughly 5 years ago, showing on how a team of data scientists work together with domain experts, make discoveries on the fly. You have this like very interactive environment, and it's very quick from like the idea to a first initial solution. So if you take that and you contrast it with how data science looks like today, you get a very different picture, right? Also, if you take the latest and shiniest from Microsoft, it still doesn't change that much, right? Like you still have this like one user in front of a screen, and maybe they are sharing results in the end, but it's not like even close to this like interactive experience what like the Microsoft Vision video, for example, showed. And so we went out and we are trying to change that. And we started actually with the user experience. So we developed an entirely new like user interface, particular to enable collaboration in person as well as remote. It combines aspects of like workflow engine like Alteryx with like visualizations tools like you find in Tableau. And then we added collaboration features which are now found in modern collaboration tools like Figma or Miro, but particular for data problems. The result of it we call visual data computing, which is a really new concept on how you interact with data together, and you can do it remotely as well as in person on large interactive touchscreens. Given this interface, we also quickly discovered that actually the current backends are not sufficient for it. For example, if you have a complex operation, nobody wants to wait to see the results render and stare at a blank screen. Right? So like if you start off an AutoML tool, for example, and it takes a couple of minutes to render, and everybody's just waiting for the result, this destroys any collaboration ongoing. And so we changed that and developed a very new progressive approximation engine, which works by first taking a small sample of the data and then like giving you a result over the sample, and then in the background make the sample larger and larger until it eventually converges. On top of that, we developed a range of new algorithms, particular for interactive results. For example, we have a first interactive automated machine learning tool, or a tool called key driver analysis, which automatically gives you insights. So we have a whole range of already ongoing use cases and customers. For example, we are working with a large car manufacturer together. A persona we were working with them is just like a car manufacturing manager who is trying to predict if the cars will be delivered on time. He was very fluent in SQL, but never built a model in his life. And in a day, in collaboration with data scientists working together on the problem, he was able to create like a very like accurate model to predict if a car actually will be delivered on time, depending where it's currently in the manufacturing process. So we are currently like looking for more opportunities to deploy Einblick. What you see here on the right is actually the remote collaboration features. Our ask is essentially like we are looking for partners which we can integrate with, as well as like data science teams or business analysts who might look for solutions to actually work together on data problems. We also have a stand on the 6th floor, so I really encourage you to come us visit there. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Fadi Micaelian, and I'm from Sparkdit. I'm going to talk to you about a phenomenal recommendation engine. At Sparkdit, we have attracted the Dream Team advisory team. It includes the founders of DocuSign, Oracle, and Broadvision. So to start with, I have a quick question. How would you like, or how do you feel if a stalker chased you in a mall and took a note of every move you made? Well, cookies are exactly that. They're digital stalkers. And the worst, would you use a cookie or a digital stalker to spy and collect data on your customer to get a 3% dismal conversion rate?
So you're in the process of selecting a recommendation engine. This is a technical decision, but it's mostly an ethical decision. Do you like being spied on? Well, your customers don't either. But most artificial intelligence-based recommendation engines spy and steal customers' personal browsing and shopping data to quench their greedy appetite for data. That's posing as a recommendation of a better product. But it's a product that only might work, and it's completely unethical. Your website is your showroom and your store. The recommendation engine is your sales rep, only scalable. They have no bad days, and they're available to work 24/7. They're even designed after your sales best practices, engaging your visitors, interacting with them to understand their wants and needs, and most importantly, their trade-offs. Our human-like intelligence platform takes into account the relative importance of the customer's buying decision criteria, giving the customers the best recommendation for them in a personalized way, no spying or stealing. Our mission is to provide you the best recommendation engine modeled after your best sales rep, leveraging human-like intelligence in an ethical way, giving your customers the confidence to make that purchase, to keep it because it's the right one, and to keep coming back because they trust you.
So to do that, our secret was to build an engine that goes beyond AI and ML and does mimic the way your brain think. The brain think when we make a decision. And how do we do that? Essentially one way. We work by trade-off. Our brain is wired to do trade-offs. So we built the first engine that does trade-offs.
Price is somewhat important. Screen size is really important. The brand is really important. The rating, not so much. I don't want a Lenovo. And I love Macs. But I want a 16-inch screen. Amazing. This was the right choice for me. I have to come back to get a recommendation for a phone for my daughter.
Hi, I'm the agent. I'm here to help. What are you looking for today?
A laptop or computer.
Okay, list the following in order of importance to you. Brand, price, weight.
So essentially, I want to see if you're awake or asleep. Spot the error here. Well, I switched 36 and 88 just to make sure that everybody was asleep. But the results is impressive. Our performance is showing 88% correct recommendations. That means 88% of the time people get action or buy or purchase based on the recommendation we provide them. And on top of that, we don't spy on them. We don't have any data on your customer other than an interactive, as you could see, interactive and engaging way to get the customers. What we're looking for, essentially, is we're seeking introduction to customers, and we're looking at partners who would take our decision engine that's feeding that recommendation engine, and in financial services, healthcare, and aerospace. Thank you very much.
I'm glad to be here today. My name is Mike Flater. I spent a long time at MIT and lives in CSAIL. I'm the founder of Covariance, a rapidly growing machine learning startup with our roots in our MIT research. If you buy data, you need Covariance. We're the leaders in a new type of machine learning critical for anyone purchasing third-party data. State-of-the-art companies have two focuses. They look inwards to understand themselves, but increasingly state-of-the-art is looking outwards to understand customers, competitors, potential investments. The problem is everyone's glasses get foggy when we look to the outside world. Your company almost certainly buys data today to try and understand customers, competitors, and markets. But external data is far from ground truth. It's very different from your internal data. And the data that you buy comes with issues. For example, you can buy data that tells you some fraction of web visits to a competitor's website. It's unclear how an unknown fraction of web visits relates to your competitor's financials, or what actions you should take after looking at this. The same issues exist for panel data, like transactions and thousands of other data sets. Today, your business units likely use raw external data in fragmented, one-off projects. For us, external data are the raw ingredients. We simplify all external data use for clients and provide best-in-class analytics at a fraction of the in-house build cost. We're the central hub for clients with external data. We purify external data and reduce the time and cost for clients to make use of external insights. We apply enterprise-grade security and GDPR compliance solutions. Our solution is simple. Clients communicate the KPIs they need to track, and we use the necessary data and methods to deliver industry-leading results. We work with a variety of data sources, including client data. Our timing is highly strategic. There's been an explosion in data sources, but the tools and machine learning to make use of these data sources has not caught up. Second, GDPR and CCPA-like regulations, as those become more prevalent, our tech becomes even more critical. When you have perfect information, you don't need machine learning. But as data gets more blurry, biased, and noisy, and you stop having perfect information, that's when inference is needed. So I'd like to talk through a quick case study for a client. Every business that acquires customers through marketplaces wants to know their share of channel. So a client of ours sells through a marketplace and was concerned about a new competitor. Marketplaces could be things like Expedia or even marketplaces for lending products. A sizable fraction of client sales comes from marketplaces, and this particular client was seeing a drop in sales. Of course, it could be market conditions like COVID, but even more pressing, there was a newcomer in the market that they operate in, and they wanted to know if the new competitor was taking channel share from them. What Covariance delivers for them is a real-time feed of channel share. Marketing and pricing use our analytics feed to differentiate between the effects of COVID. I don't know why this keeps switching when I let go of it. So marketing and pricing use our analytics feed to differentiate between the effects of COVID, competitors, pricing changes. And both the executive and board at the client use our insights for understanding the competitive landscape. How well should our client be doing from marketplace referrals? What % of competitor sales come from the marketplace? I didn't touch it that time. But I'll keep going. And today we're actively working with corporates and financial services. We're engaged in helping corporates understand customers, competitors, new markets. We package a tier 1 machine learning team at a fraction of the cost. And we're looking to engage with clients for proof of concept pilot projects. We have a stellar track record for converting long-term engagements. We're long-term a partner in helping organizations leverage external data and state-of-the-art learning. I look forward to your questions and discussing next steps.
Hi, my name is Ali Merchant. I'm the CEO and co-founder of IQ3 Connect. It's really a pleasure to be here, and thanks to ILP and Startup Exchange for giving us this opportunity to speak about our AR/VR remote collaboration platform. So we were very fortunate during the pandemic to be able to collaborate with some visionary companies to work on some really hard remote collaboration problems in manufacturing and product training. I mean, these companies build complex products and have global footprints in terms of their workforce, suppliers, and customers. So in normal work environments, I mean, these companies rely heavily on kind of face-to-face interaction, easy access to physical hardware and for manufacturing activities, and physical classrooms to sort of deliver training to hundreds of their employees. Well, all of these in-person interactions were either restricted or no longer feasible during the pandemic. And these challenges are only expected to grow as we move forward due to sort of unpredictable events, and also due to the sustainability commitments that these companies are making. And we just heard about that in a previous talk. And we also learned that the current collaboration kind of looks like this. It is convenient, but quite inadequate to fill the gap because you lack the scale perspective and the precise interaction that we kind of almost take for granted in our everyday physical interaction. So our solution, IQ3, is a web-based collaboration platform where users can actually launch 3D digital meeting rooms or workspaces. So these are just like video conferencing teams, but they're actually 3D interactive environments. And these 3D meeting rooms are accessible very easily in a web browser environment. We are just by sending you a link. So I could just send you a link and we can start a live collaboration. And it could be on your laptop or VR, AR device that are freely available now. And what you see behind me is a screenshot of an IQ3 meeting room where you can have the exact 3D digital model, and participants have the full context scale and perspective that you would see in a physical work environment. And what differentiates us is that our technology makes this 3D collaboration sort of accessible to anybody in your organization, makes it really easy, practical, and affordable to scale in industrial production environments. And that's what we achieved during the pandemic with several of our key customers. So let's just see how this works, this live collaboration works with one of our customers, AVL Test Systems.
In this case, it works just like inviting you to Zoom or to WebEx or to Skype. You have a calendar invite. There's no application to download, and so right from the calendar invite, you launch, and it launches within a web browser, and you're off and running. Essentially, what this does is it creates VR really on demand. The product is able to bring in native CAD data or CAE data, and it can also bring in the scan data. When I showed you the scan of the actual test cell for factory acceptance, it's able to read that natively. The nice thing is by reading that data natively like this, you saw the user is actually interacting with actually one of the parts directly.
So another one of our customers, a major player in the oil and gas space, also deployed IQ3 during the pandemic. And what we see here is a real production meeting in IQ3, and there are different participants from different parts of the world that are, have a full interaction, unlike kind of a Zoom meeting. And they can interact down to a specific bolt. So our technology gives them the ability to do that in the manufacturing and training environments in these IQ3 workspaces. So we're seeking partners, for applications in AR, VR, and broad industrial collaboration and training in companies in discrete manufacturing, construction, energy, but also open to other industries that are interested in solving remote training with AR, VR. We are open to simple, out-of-the-box product trials, as well as more specific pilots around specific use cases. Please come and find us in the lunch exhibit area. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is John. I'm with Relativity 6. We do faster, more reliable industry classification detection with artificial intelligence. Quick company history. We were founded in 2016 at MIT by Alan and Abraham. We have 40 employees in Cambridge, Mass., Los Angeles, and Silicon Valley. So the problem we're solving seems simple. Classifying what a business does is tough, just one business. Classifying at scale is incredibly tough. We answer questions like, has a business added a service recently? Do they still exist? A lot of businesses had to shut down during the pandemic. Which industries does a business service? For example, if they're a lawyer, are they a tax lawyer or a cryptocurrency lawyer? The product itself is incredibly easy to use. All you have to do is put in a business name and an address. So notice there's no PII. You get back a classification, associated classification codes, relevant keywords to give more context about a business, evidence links that support our predictions, and confidence scores in order to explore automation and triage use cases. A little bit more about the technology. We take in unstructured, structured, internal and external data, and we classify into over 10,000 categories. If you built a system like this kind of classification system, you know that anything over 100 categories is incredibly complex to build and even tougher to maintain. We deliver through a simple, easy-to-use API. This is a sample JSON response from what you get back using our API. The speed is less than 100 milliseconds for a response, which is incredibly fast. And the accuracy of the classifications is 85 to 90, 95% accurate when compared to some of our competitors, which are at 60 to 65%. This is a global technology. I know a lot of companies in here are international, so you can use our technology in offices across the world, regardless of which language they speak and operate in. Quick customer story for you. We worked with a large multinational bank who provided us a data set. We found that they were misclassifying businesses' classifications by 30% of the time, and we were able to make it so they were accurate 95% of the time. The pilot only took 2 weeks, and a full integration into their systems only took 5 weeks. So if you want to learn more and get fast results for your company, come see me for a live demo, a really quick live demo, and ask me about a free pilot. Once again, my name is John. Now with Relativity 6, we do fast, reliable industry classification with artificial intelligence. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Marcel Barrera. I'm the Senior Vice President of Strategy and Growth here at serviceMob, and I'm here to tell you, well, the world of customer service is extremely frustrating, muddy, and convoluted, folks. Even in the digital modern age, we still leave brands, retailers, and quit buying products as a result of poor service and support. Now, while this may be extremely frustrating for us with multiple calls, chats, and emails to solve our 99 problems with customer service, and this is one, it is equally frustrating for the business operator as a whole. Leadership teams have been provided watered-down metrics that tell them very little, if anything, of how effective they are at reducing customer effort. Now, if you add to that the number of technologies it takes to make a modern customer service experience real, well, now you have a recipe for convoluted dark data casserole, which no business can tap into. So you might be asking yourself what the problem is, and well, I'm here to tell you what that is. The problem is the data of service is horrible. As a result, the industry, the experts, and the underlying technology are using the wrong data model. They're using the wrong data ontology. What that means is they provide limited, watered-down analytics, which no business can tap into, and have a fractional view of the customer support journey. Now, in the end, that means that the data hasn't been optimized, and it's never been optimized because it's never talked to each other, until now. serviceMob uses blockchain technology to unify the dark data of service into a single record of how effective businesses are at truly solving customer support issues versus how fast they handle a transaction. What that means is now businesses are empowered to go ahead and use that information to target specific attributes of an agent of how effective they are at solving those customers' issues. By doing so, they reduce customer effort, and that reduces contacts into your support center. Now, with that said, we are also providing a coveted cross-industry metric known as chat concurrency rate. I will tell you that Salesforce, TalkDesk, Zendesk, you name a desk, they don't provide this metric. And it's extremely hard to computate and get in front of your teams. Now, in a post-COVID-19 world where the majority of contacts and our agents are distributed at home, and I'm here to tell you that's going to stay, you're going to need new productivity insights. You're going to need analytics that power your ability to understand the continuous intelligence of how effective your business is at reducing customer effort. Now, our continuous intelligence is powering those agent conversations to ensure they're faster and better and stronger at solving those problems, but ultimately, our data is also being consumed outside of the organization by product teams, sales teams, customer success teams, where they're taking the most painful, prevalent problems that end up in support and addressing those problems upstream, avoiding contacts from needing to be generated and come into your support center. Now, as we continue to deploy our technology, one of the things we've been able to do is truly capitalize on this with our clients. We worked with a multi-billion-dollar decacorn in the SaaS industry, roughly 35,000 contacts per month, and we helped them identify what their chat concurrency rate was, helping them to improve their abandonment rate by 80%, their contact rate by 78%, and improve resolution rate from the low 45% to 75%. Folks, the results speak for themselves. $13 million in cost savings, and we avoided the hiring of 60 employees. In the end, we're here for you. We want your customers, your users, your members. If you have a service footprint, if you have a shared services center, folks, services in every industry, and we retain that acumen to help you solve those inadequacies. So again, we'd love to pilot with you. Our industries are across the board, and we are international ready. Again, thank you for your time. serviceMob is our name. Data ontology is our game.
Hi, we are TechNext. I am Anuraag, and my colleague Sharif is in the audience. The handsome gentleman in the middle is our CEO and Professor Emeritus at MIT, Professor Christopher McGee. So these logos are for companies which are either dead or a shell of what they used to be. If you are still using their products, you might want to come talk to us after the break. So I'm sure these headlines look familiar to all of you. Whoever is doing R&D. Sorry, the clicker is a little. Yes. So lots of money is spent into technologies, overhyped technologies, and often they do not deliver the required results and end up in disappointment. This has happened with technologies such as self-driving cars, with large government programs such as the F-35, and with even famous technologies such as artificial intelligence, which continues to have booms and busts. Because of that, companies are spending more and more on R&D because they know R&D done right equals market dominance, but R&D done wrong can mean extinction. However, over the last 50 years, companies are spending more and more on R&D, but getting less and less in return. It's an empirical fact that research productivity has fallen, and something you can all probably notice in your own organizations, that you're not getting the required buck for the R&D. So we feel, and I think you will agree, that half the money I spent on advertising the old code is now more applicable to R&D than it used to be on advertisement. So our solution is a set of instantaneous, infinitely iterable, and hype-proof tools that help organizations systematically forecast and anticipate technological advance, breakthroughs, and disruptions. This is one of our beta tools that we are currently testing with various organizations. And we can do this using almost 20 years of research done here at MIT that we finally are now able to apply to the real world. And we use proprietary patent-pending algorithms, machine learning techniques, and one of the largest databases on empirical performance of improvement rates. You can see our technologies, our solution works with different kinds of technologies, going from candles to missiles to quantum computing. So does it work? Here is a case study that we did for solar versus wind. The empirical reality is in black, and the colored forecasts are various forecasts starting 30 years out. And you can see starting about 20 years ahead of time, our forecasts are pretty close to reality. So we have already finished a contract with the US Air Force. We have been in the Wall Street Journal last weekend. We just completed an interview with the Financial Times, and we are gaining a lot of traction and news coverage. So we're looking for more pilots with commercial entities in energy, aerospace, automotive, electronics, because our solution is technology agnostic. R&D departments and corporate venture capital arms are both great customers for us. And we're also working with government agencies, foundations funding R&D, as well as consulting organizations, helping in change management in larger organizations. We are in, both me and Sharif are at the booth, so please come find us. Thank you.
Good, thank you very much. Good afternoon. Thank you for still being here for the last sprint of the startups. My name is Tomasz Grzegorczyk, and along with my business partner, Joe Pacheco, our goal today is to excite you about what we're doing at Teranalytics. And if you are in anywhere remotely connected to logistics in your industry, we hope that you will be excited, because our mission is to develop the logistics tools of the future by leveraging your expertise that you have developed over many decades and embedding it with data-driven processes. So we have had the chance to work with logistics companies over the past 5 years, and we have seen two main themes. First, shifting markets that require the necessity of readjustment of complex supply chains and operations. And also non-fully digitized operation, which often leads executive teams to think that they don't have good data, or at least not good enough to do something about it. Obviously, there are some solutions out there. The question is, do you want to go with an off-the-shelf solution, or do you want to go with a tailored solution? With off-the-shelf solutions, you will have great products, but you will have to see how you can fit into what they can provide to you, or you will have to be technically quite deeply involved into the development of the solution. If instead you have a business problem in search of a tailored solution, this is where we might be able to help. So we are organized, our operation is organized around various optimization and machine learning modules that we have developed and validated with customers over the past 5 years. But because no two problems are alike, we have internally developed these modules to be like puzzle pieces, to work together, be integrated in order to create customizable and scalable solutions. The main modules we currently have already deployed are forecasting, for example, for demand and labor forecasting, process optimization currently being used in manufacturing, and distribution network optimizations. And all these tools have been benchmarked against industry standard and have been used and validated by customers. I should mention I don't talk at all about the back end or the algorithms that we're using. Please know that at least, I mean, this is where we shine. This is where the technical team comes in. It's a highly technical team with master's and PhD in electrical engineering, math, and physics. But because we're not here to develop algorithms but solve actual business problems, we also have developed these modules to interface with our customers. And they're organized here into sort of three main pillars: technology, of course, processes, which is often around data gathering and all the like, and people to interface with the customers. So how does it work in practice? This is an example of a project we have done with a company. The problem was to optimize production scheduling. Imagine you have multiple production sites, multiple assembly sites, all of them with their various constraints. The question is, how do you decide what to produce, when, and where? And also, what does it even mean to be optimized? Does it mean to be first to market? Does it mean to minimize waste? So as you can see, it's a problem that scales quickly and becomes complex and not easily quantifiable. In this case, there's nothing off the shelf that could have solved this problem for them. Yet in 3 months, we managed to interview the main stakeholders, gather information, gather data, pull the right puzzle pieces together of all the necessary colors, and deploy a solution. Some of the screenshots are shown here. The team can now optimize a production that is very tailored to their constraints, run what-if scenarios in seconds, and have quantifiable solutions. So what is next? We have had a great experience working with companies. Many of our projects have had great impacts and generated major savings to our customers, all the while funding us to deliver on our mission, which is developing these logistics tools of the future. Obviously, we're not done, and we're looking for active and new partnership with companies who have a real pain point in logistics, who have an interest in doing something about it now, and who have a collaborative and iterative mindsets, and this is how we have had our best projects. We're not focused on a specific industry, but really logistics. So if this resonates with you, I would be happy to give you more details, see you at the break, or talk to you at your convenience. Thank you very much.